Hi there. I'd like to come today to start and show you how to make some fun watercolor cards for Christmas. This is my first year watercoloring and I'm just really enjoying it very much. And I'm a beginner. I'm having a lot of fun and I want to make some cards, bring you along and show you that it's not as hard as you think, and to also give you some confidence to try your own, because if I can paint these cards, you can too. And so the first one I'd like to share, I practiced on this. Well, first of all, I made this little practice run. I like the tree in the picture, so I think not the background tree so much, but this little tree right here. So I think I'm going to try to scoot him over just a smidge so we can add him into the next card that we do, and we'll try and make this little card together. So I hope you'll come along and watch as we create a watercolor card together as amateurs. I started out, first of all, I just drew 3 little circles. I drew a circle that, and you want to draw really light because you want to be able to not have these lines show up. So I try to draw them as lightly as possible, and I don't want to go over as far this time because I want to put that little tree in there because I think that little tree is cute. And then make another little circle for the top portion of the little snowman. This doesn't have to be anything special. I'm just drawing circles. If you have a hard time drawing circles, find something and draw around it. A lid or something in your home that you could, a cup or a glass or something that you could draw on. And then I don't have room for the head and the hat. So what we're going to do is we're going to erase. Be careful when you erase. You don't want to erase hard. You want to erase lightly so that your lines don't show and you don't mess up the paper. I'm just going to make that body a little bit smaller so that it's not quite so tall, so that I have room for everything. I may have maybe should have started closer to the bottom of the page, and then make a little round head, and we'll just put a little hat on this little snowman and he'll be just happy. That looks good. We can even change the style of the hat if we want. You can do whatever you want with your card. You can make it look however you want to make it. I'm using some Strathmore cards that I purchased. Let me show you what they are. They're Strathmore watercolor cards, and I bought them on Amazon. But I get 10 cards in 10 envelopes. But I loved it because it's watercolor paper, and I think watercolor paper works so much better on watercolor. I mean, watercolor works so much better on watercolor paper. So try to get watercolor paper if you can. You can also make your own. If you have some watercolor paper, just cut out some pieces and make your own cards. And you could even make your own envelopes if you want to. I'm sure there's some YouTube videos out there that would help show you how that's done. Now that I'm looking at this, it's just a smidge crooked, so we'll fix it before we start painting. And the nice thing about watercolor and making your own, you can make them however you want to. And the other thing that is so nice about this is it's a special handmade card from me to whomever I give it to. And it's made with love, and it's a one-of-a-kind, and that makes it special for whoever I give it to. This one I need to sign it, and I will give it to someone for Christmas. There's mistakes in this card, but I don't think anyone will notice, and if they do, they won't even care because it's made special for them from me. So, all right, let's try to fix this little fella and make him a little special card. Now I told you about the cards I'm using. I'm just using a regular pencil, mechanical pencil, to draw with. I have 2 sets of paints. These are my Daniel Smith paints. And then I have a set over here that are my Sennelier, or Sennelier. I don't know how you say it. And I'm going to use those. I also have some brushes. These are student grade synthetic brushes. They're just on Amazon, sizes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And so I'll use those. And then for now, that's all we're going to use. And when we get to a point where we use some more things, I'll tell you about what we're going to use. Now, to start this little snowman, I like to, I'll probably use a smaller brush. I'm going to use a size 6. A size 6. And I'm going to get this inside of this snowman just a little bit wet so that I can put these gray and blue colors inside the snowman to make him look like he's alive, kind of. So I'm going to get my brush wet, and then I'm just going to dab my paper. I hope where you can see me. And I'm not going to get the whole entire thing wet because the inside, I don't want it to be too much of the gray and the blue. I want it to retain more of the white so that you can tell that this little snowman is white too. But then it will have some shading around the outside edges. This is Love and Life's philosophy of how to paint her snowman. I've not been to school to learn this, but I just want to show you how I do things. Okay, now I have a Payne's Gray that I like to use. So we'll just dot a little bit of that in there and see how watering your paper can give it that effect. It lets the watercolor kind of come alive and do the work. I'm going to rinse my brush, and let's put a little bit of cobalt blue in. I have some cobalt blue over here. I'm going to just dab a little bit of that in. Let it mix in with the gray. We'll kind of mix those together a little. And just make that little snowman have a little bit of a color to it. I don't want to totally fill it in. So what I'm going to do is get my brush wet and just run it along the edges a little bit of some of that. Just kind of let that do its own thing. We're just going to leave that now. Just let it kind of dry on its own. And or let it do its thing. We'll start on the bottom piece. I've had so much fun doing this. I like to put on some Christmas music or put on a podcast or listen to the scriptures on my iPhone, or just set it up so that I can kind of listen and do my own little thing. All right, let's put those same colors in. You kind of want to keep it all about the same. You don't want to mix it up too much. And you'll notice that these colors are staying within where I've wet the paper. It doesn't go outside because I've wet those spaces, and so it kind of stays right inside where I've wet. And that's what we want it to do, is to kind of do that, stay where we put it. We'll put some blue in here to make this snowman look like he's not just straight white. And let me get some water, and we'll kind of spread this out a little. Now if you feel like this snowman looks a little bit too blue to me, you can just dot it with some tissue. I have a little bit of tissue here. I'm kind of messed up right there. I'm going to pull some of that out a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of soften this inward line. We don't want that line to show, so we're going to soften those lines a little bit. See how soft you can make that look? I'm going to add just a little more gray. I think we need it to be, and this is all your own preference. Whoops. It's a little bit, my water's not wet enough. So I got my brush wet, and if it's too wet, you want to just damp it off just a smidge. And then I can come in and make that a little less, you know, kind of make it the coloring that I want. I don't want it quite so blue. I think he needs to be a little bit more gray, but if you like your snowman to be a little bit more blue, that's totally up to you, and you can make your snowman look however you want it. I want a little bit of gray right here to define the bottom of this edge, so you can see that there's a difference there. Then you can pull that color out. If you don't want it to go into the bottom one, you can just pull that color out to the center. See how that easy that is, how that works. This right here needs to be softened, and you just need to get your brush a little bit wet and pull it to the inside. Now usually if I'm working on something, I would tape these edges down. This is so small, it doesn't seem to give me a terrible amount of problem with it. So I've just left it and painted it on it as it is. But a lot of times when you have a bigger project, you need to go ahead and just tape those edges down with a little bit of painter's tape, and make sure you have all the edges secure so that the water doesn't seep underneath. And just go ahead and use that for so that your paper doesn't buckle too much. That really helps. Now if you've gotten a little bit out of the line, like right here, there's a little bit right there that I went out, which isn't a big deal because I'm actually going to put a little hill underneath. But see how that softened it just for me to do that? And then if you want to, you can come in with your tissue and wipe up that edge right there. Okay? Alright, now let's go on and do a little bit for the top. Let me get the top a little bit wet around the edge. Just around the edge of the snowman head. We'll put some of those same colors, just lighten them up slightly. We'll put just a little bit of gray, not a lot, just a little. A few dabs here and there. And we'll get a little bit of blue. I'm sticking with the same color for every one of these because you want it to all look the same. You don't want to switch colors on it and have the head and the body and all of it looking different. Now that looks kind of funny to me. So what you need to do is get your brush a little bit wet, kind of pull it out and around. I just kind of work with it until I get a look I like. You might have to pull some of the color because it's looking kind of blue. There's a little bit much to me. But really, it's really your preference, what you want it to look like. I don't have a picture of an original because this is my original. Well, this is actually my original right here. I thought, okay, I'm going to draw a snowman and practice. And you can see I messed up right here, but it looks all right. And I messed up really bad here. And here it's smudged. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try to do it on a real card. And so these are the originals, and so, but they're all different. All three, the snowman, if you look at the colors, the snowman's different on each one. And so, see, it doesn't really matter. You can make them look however you like. So, all right, we're at this point that I'm going to erase these couple of little lines as soon as I get this dry. You need to wait until this dries before you do anything else, because you don't want your other colors to run into this color. This looks good for my snowman, and as soon as it gets dry, I'll bring it back and we'll do a little more work on it and see what we can come up with. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back. Now I think we'll do the scarf part of this cute little snowman. I like the red. We could change it up if we'd like. We could make it have green, or I'm going to have to use a color that's dark enough to cover this up. If you wanted to use a light color like a yellow or something, you probably should paint that in along with your body. I just did the whole snowman first, but this would show through on a light color, so you need to use a dark enough color to cover that up. I think maybe I will use dioxazine purple. Wouldn't that be fun for a switch? We'll see how that looks. Oh, I don't think that's the right color. You know what happened is some of my paints fell out of their pans, and I bet this one is one of the ones that fell out and I got it in the wrong spot. Let's see if I can pull some of that up a little bit. I bet the color right next to it in my pan is the purple. Maybe? No, that's not it either. Alright, we're going to try one more. I'm going to have to get these figured out and in their right spots, I guess. I thought they were. It's so hard to tell, and especially when you're brand new. Like, I haven't done this much. I'm a new painter with new paints. This is the purple color. And I think I'm kind of making a mess. I need to be very careful what I'm doing with this. Alrighty. Let's, this kind of folds over, a little fold over. It comes right down like this. I'm just going to pull all that paint down. Isn't that a pretty color? I love these watercolor tips, brushes, because they have fine tips that are really, really nice. Now at this point I don't want to pull very much color. I need a little bit more than that. but I want my brush to be fairly dry, because if my brush were too wet, it would run all over. So I need it to be pretty dry because I'm kind of doing some little detail here. So I need fine lines and I need my brush fairly dry. At this point, I can get it a little bit wetter and spread some of that color out to the other areas so you don't have lines in your scarf. Okay, let's do the other one. I'll just get a little more paint, and we'll just fill this in. Make it look like a scarf. You can make whatever kind of a scarf you want. You don't have to have a scarf. You can just do whatever you like and make your snowman look how you want him to look. What would be fun is to duplicate a snowman that your kids or grandkids have made in the yard. Make a card out of it. Wouldn't that be fun? It would be a special memory for your kids all their life. Alright, now I'm going to put some little tassels at the bottom. See how fine that brush is? You just can do all those little tassels so easy. I need just a titch more paint, so I could do this one. I just love this so much. Alright, I think we're going to leave that for now. Now that needs to dry before I can put anything else with it. So I think what I'll do now is maybe we can work on the hat. This is the first hat I did, and then the second hat I made was a little different shaped. But I think we'll do the first one because I think it'll be easier with we don't have a lot of room. So I think I'll do it. I'm going to head and use I have a neutral tint that's kind of the same as the Payne's Gray. It's a little bit darker of a color. And I think I'll use that color to start with for my hat. So that I can make it look like a little top hat. I like this color because you can make it look almost like black. So that's a nice color to have. And just try to make a little hat. Just try to paint straight lines. If you have a hard time painting straight lines, you can use a little ruler and make a line. You can draw your hat first if you like. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a crooked hat even, and that's just fine. That looks okay though. Let me get a little more water and we'll put the top part on. My brush is just a little bit wet, so I'm going to just dab it. See how you can just dab it? And then see how you can tell how wet the paint is I put on there. It's just a little wet. I'm going to make that hat as tall as I can make it without it being funny. Okay. All right. There we go, just a little top hat. I'm going to add some more color. I want to color this in darker. So I want it to be a darker hat, like a black hat. A little black. Oh, I forgot to leave a line. I wanted to leave a line to paint a little. I wanted to leave a little line right here so we could put a band on the hat, and I forgot. Well, now we're going to have to get creative. Okay, it looks like it's kind of lifted off the top of his head, so we need to We need to bring it down a little bit. So he looks like he's wearing it instead of wearing it right on the top of his head. My brush is too dry. I need to get a little more paint. Covering that little spot right there. Oops, my brush is too wet. See, this is kind of trial and error. You kind of have to practice. See how I've kind of smudged that a little bit. Right now the best thing for me to do is just to let that dry, and then I'll come back and I'll fix up this little area. But if I try to do it right now, it's going to smear all over. So right now I'm just going to let it dry. Okay, I'm going to put in the eyes and the kohl buttons. We'll just make little kohl eyes, and I kind of like to make them look like kohl. So I don't want them to be perfectly round. I want them to look like a rock or a lump of coal. See how that is? I think that looks better. If you were making a real snowman, it would not look like a perfect round circle. And then we're going to make some same lumps of coal for the buttons. I think that's perfect. We probably need part of one right here. And we can put part of one down here. We get just a drop more paint. Just a drop. You don't need much. We're just going to set it right inside there. Okay. There we go. Alright, now we need a corn, or not a corn, a carrot nose. So, we have some Mayan orange over here, and I'm going to just get my brush wet enough to make an orange color to make an orange nose. He needs a carrot. Just make him have a carrot nose, just like that. I think my brush has a little bit of, I need to rinse it again. I'm just going to rinse it again and dab it back in. And you really do not have to be perfect when you do this. I'm trying to do this perfectly because you're watching me. If I wasn't videotaping this, I probably would not make this so perfect because I'm trying to do a good video. I'm trying to make this nice for you guys to see. But you don't have to be so perfect. You can make it however looks good to you. You know, carrots are not perfect. And I see a lot of people paint and their paintings are not perfect. So you make this however you like. Okay, now we're going to go back to the neutral tint, and we're going to make some little round mouth for this little snowman, like he's smiling. We're going to make him smile just a little, like he's a happy snowman. We want him to be happy at Christmas time, because Christmas time is a happy time of year. Alright, now I kind of want to do something on this little guy that I didn't do on the others. I want to make him have some rosy cheeks. So I think what I'll do is I'll take this carmine over here. It's right here, this color. But the color alone is going to be way too red. So what I'm going to do is pull some of that color down and add some water to it. Try to lighten that color as much as I can. The more water you add, the lighter that's going to look. Now I want to make sure and dab my brush. And then just give him some little rosy cheeks. That's not quite enough. Not quite enough there. I probably wiped my brush a little too much. Okay, now that just needs to dry, because if you touch that some more, it's going to smear. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this snowman dry for a little bit. And, well, I think what we can do now is we can do let's do the sticks for the arms. I didn't leave a space, so we're just going to have to pretend like it's behind this. And I think we'll use warm sepia. I have a warm sepia that we can use to make it look like the branch for his arms. We're just going to pull it right out there, make him look like he's got, this one we'll put over here. We'll just put it right here, and we're going to make a little tiny indent like it's going into the snow. This one needs a little bit more on the edge right there. And then we're going to make him have some branches coming out. I need just a smidge more paint. Okay, there, that looks good enough. For the branches, they don't have to be perfect either. All right, now I'm going to let everything dry, and then I'm going to come back to you in just a little bit when it gets dry, and we'll finish it up. And I'll show you how no, I'm sorry. Let's go down here, I forgot, and we'll put some, if you look at this, you can see that it has a little bit of snow on the ground. Let's make a little snow. We're going back to the Payne's Gray, and I'm going to kind of water it down so it's not too dark. I don't want this to be outrageously dark. And then I'm going to do the same with this. This is cobalt blue. I'm going to add water to that too, so it's kind of watered down a little. And we'll just kind of brush it out underneath the snowman a little bit. And let's put some gray in there. Just make it look like snow, a little bit like snow on the ground. This doesn't have to be perfect. You can make it look however you like. I think it looks a little bit like it's melting, like the snowman is melting a little bit, and so it must be a nice warm day. Okay, now the next thing we should do is we could paint this cute little tree. Remember our little tree right here? We can paint that little tree while we're waiting for the rest to dry. So I have some, let's see, I have some forest green, which is probably a really good color for a tree. It's kind of a really dark forest green though. So I think what I'm going to do is add a little bit of brown to it. Let's see if I can lighten it up just a little. I think I'll add some burnt sienna and see what that does to it. I'm kind of new at mixing colors, so I don't really know exactly Well, it's an interesting color. Let me show you. I think it'll work. Let's draw the center of the little tree that we want to have right here. You can tell my paint's pretty watered down. And then we can just begin by adding some little branches to our tree. And what you need to do is make these wider as we get to the bottom. But this is just a little tree in the forest by our little snowman. It's just small. We're going to need some different colors mixed in with it. Okay, let's do some cobalt blue. This is going to be too light, I'm afraid. And then let's mix some henna yellow deep. Or, yeah, let's try that and see what we get. Oh yeah, I kind of like that color. Now we're getting the green. Let me show you the color that we got. I kind of like that color much better. Than the other color. We just need to mix more without, oh no, I don't need red, I need blue and yellow. I have too much water in it. So let's add some more paint. And let's add some yellow. This to me looks more like the color of the trees and what a tree looks like. I know that mixing colors is a wonderful thing to learn, and you don't have to buy all the colors of paints if you could mix your own colors. I am brand new and I'm just learning, but I'm excited to start giving it a try because this is fun to me and it's fun to learn and to try. Alright, that's our perfectly imperfect little tree, and that looks good enough. So I think we'll let everything dry. Alright, now we need to put a color through our purple scarf. Let's see, we're going to need a dark color that will show up. So with purple, I think we almost need a black. Maybe we should use the neutral tint and just make a, or you know what we'll do? Let me show you what I have. I have some Wink of Stella brushes here that are all different colors. We have clear, black, gold, silver, red. Maybe we could put silver through that and see how that looks. We can give it a try for sure. See how that'll work. You try. Just to give it a little bit of glitter and glow. Oh, it's beautiful. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera or not, but it's very pretty in person. I'll turn the card in just a minute and show you what what shows up and see if you can see any of it. And I'm going to go this way. It's very pretty. It just gives a little bit of sparkle to this and makes it look like it's got some fine lines through it. Let me show you. Whoops. Can you see the colors of that Wink of Stella? Those Wink of Stella brushes are glitter brushes. They just have a little bit of glitter in them. I hope you can see that. I think we'll do the same thing for the hat. Since we've colored it in too dark, let's go ahead and make this have the same thing on it. Okay, can you see the little glitter on the hat? Whoever gets this card and opens it up will be able to see that glitter, and it'll be make the card special to them. All right, now all we have left to do is I would like to put some balls hanging off the snowman's arms, and then let's put some little ornaments on the tree. Should we do that? And then we'll be finished with our card. I think I'm going to put red ones on our tree. So on our snowman, let's put hanging down, let's use, maybe we should just stick with the silver. Just the silver balls. Red and silver. Then it won't be too much. Let's try that. Maybe I better paint my lines. For the lines, I'm going to use a number 2 little tiny brush. I'm just going to make strings with this neutral color. I'm just going to draw a little neutral color line down. And then I'm going to draw a little bow at the top, like it's hanging on there by a little bow. Let's do the same over here. We'll hang one right here. I need a little bit more water. Okay, let's do one more. I got just a little bit too much paint right there. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. All right. We're going to paint silver balls right here. Hanging from our snowman. Cute. I love this Wink of Stella. I bought these on Amazon. They're just Wink of Stella brushes, and they're glitter brushes, and they come in all different colors. You can order whichever color you like. There we go. Now let's use the red one, and we'll just hang some gold balls on our tree with the red. make our little Christmas tree come to life. Like it's got gold balls on it. Now, this card has taken me a little while to make. If you don't have time to spend this long to make a card, you can make a simple card. You could make a card in 10 minutes. You could take this little snowman and not make it so detailed. Make it simple, easy. You don't even have to make a snowman. You could make snowflakes or balls, ornaments, I should say. You can do whatever you want to your little card. You don't have to do this. This is what I've chosen to do to show you. So anyway, I think that's everything. I do want to put some little brown detail in the nose. Let's take some of this sepia, this warm sepia, and just make this nose not look quite so perfect. You know, carrots have those little things in them, so we'll make it look like it's a real carrot. I'm going to take a little bit of this Payne's Gray that I mixed up and spread this out so this looks more like the rest of the snow in the ground, with a tiny bit of this cobalt blue mixed in just a little, and just make that look just a little more natural with the other snow. A little more gray. That was a little bit too much gray. It's all okay though. You can fix it if you mess up. You can just add a little water and fix it up. All right, there we go. And that's our Christmas card for this week. Come along next week, or I'll have another one soon. This week I'm going to try to do 2 a week. So come back again and I'll have another one for you in a couple days. So thanks for joining me.